football starting to return, different places, crowd, no crowd. This is a Danish football match with fans watching as virtual Zoom fans with screens. This is oddly bizarre. I don't know if it works or not, but look, we'll try anything at this point. And you get to see everybody in their favorite chair, in their kit, and enjoying it. So, Rebecca Lowe, can this work for the Premier League? Can you imagine all the people on that Zoom call?
Mike, that just makes my brain ache, looking at how on earth they would do that across all the stadiums. There are 92 games left in the Premier League, which is restarting in a few weeks' time. So no, cardboard cutouts in the stadiums. I've seen that in Germany as well, where the fans donate money to a charity who then they have a cardboard cutout of themselves in the stands. I'm sure you guys have seen that as well. So they are trying their best. They've fed in some crowd noise as well to the Bundesliga. So it's going to be interesting how they work out creating an atmosphere for people watching at home as the Premier League gets ready to return.
And we'll get to all the details on that in a second. But, Rebecca, I think of some world matches, some qualifiers because of political reasons. We've seen matches behind closed doors in soccer before. So other sports, it feels very foreign or very different. Not as much the case when we talk soccer. Do you think it's impacted any of the Bundesliga matches that you've seen with no crowds?
Oh, it's definitely impacted it, Mike. I mean, from a viewer's point of view, definitely. But I do think that football fans adapt. I think human beings adapt, don't we? That's one of the great things about us. We adapt quite quickly and we get used to things quite quickly. And already, I'm now quite used to watching it without fans, whether or not I choose to have the piped-in sound and the sound effects of the fans, which you can have, or whether I watch it naked, if you like, without anything. I've just kind of got used to it. And also, you do know it's temporary. We don't know how long temporary, but we know it's going to be short-term in the grand scheme of things. So you kind of suspend your disbelief knowing that that will change. In terms of on the field, there's been moments where it's probably affected flow, because what you have to remember, Mike, is in football, the crowd are so loud and they're so close to the action that often they can G up or actually have an effect on a player. I've heard players talk, Mike, over the last few days about, without having a crowd, they take cues from the crowd, different things that they shout, different things they chant, they're just general inflection, their oohs and ahs and their gasps help them know if there's a man behind them or if there's somebody coming in for a tackle. So it's going to affect the game, but the players will get used to it. And like I say, fingers crossed, it isn't for long, long term.
And that's the one interesting thing, because we talk about piping in crowd noise for TV. You could, because the rhythmic chanting and singing of songs is so prevalent in English football. You could have that soundtrack playing at a lower level on the home grounds for the different stadiums, and it would not be too artificial, at least in my opinion. Does that sound stupid, or does that make any sense?
I don't think that sounds stupid. I've seen it happen in the Bundesliga where if you're sitting at home, you get, and it's not on a low level, it's on a regular level. And genuinely, we all love familiarity, Mike, right? And actually pottering about, having your breakfast, making whatever you're doing while you're watching a game, having that sound that you're so familiar with, I think gives everyone great comfort. Now, everyone's different. Everyone will choose differently. Some people think it's ruining the game if you pipe in artificial sound. But as we know, technology is amazing and audio engineers are amazing. Thank you, by the way, to the ones that sorted me out today. Because they can actually mix things in to really make it sound like it's those home fans doing the singing, because they just lift it from somewhere else. So I don't think it's ridiculous. Not everybody will like it. Some people will think, no, we are traditionalists and we're not doing that. We'd rather just watch it without any sound at all. So hopefully there'll be an option for that in the future. But no, I think that my preference would be to watch it with some sound. And all it makes you think about when you're watching a game is that you can see the first few rows are empty, but you just have to suspend your disbelief and imagine that the rest of the stadium is full above row F, basically.
Your imagination is priceless. All right, let's put up the specifics here that we detailed as they were reported yesterday and were confirmed 24 hours ago. So the Premier League will come back Wednesday, June 17th. So we're about 2.5 weeks away here from getting back going, or 3 weeks, I should say. Villa and Sheffield United, Manchester City, Arsenal, with a full match round on Friday, June 19th. And you see the kickoff times spread out. Rebecca, that's like the normal spread of kickoff times for that weekend there. So that's kind of exciting, isn't it?
It It is. They've added one more to a Saturday and a Sunday. So normally we do that 7:30 and that 7 a.m. and then the 10 a.m. and the 9 a.m. and the 12:30 and 11:30, and that's when we're done. So they've added on a 3 o'clock on a Saturday, 3 Eastern, and a 2 Eastern on a Sunday. So they are extending Saturday and Sunday. So that's going to be a rather long day in the studio. But yeah, it's exciting because they have to do that because over in the UK, they've committed to showing every single game across they have 4 broadcasters in the UK that cover the Premier League: Amazon Prime, Sky, BT and BBC. So they're all going to share those out. Whereas of course here it's just NBC. So we've got you absolutely covered. You will not, I think it's something crazy like 92 games in 37 days across, there's like 2 days off or something. I mean, the maths is off the charts in terms of all you have to do is sit there. We basically got you covered for the month of June and July.
Good. Good. Well, we should explain that a little bit because I don't think U.S. fans, at least the ones who are casual fans, appreciate that. There's that match window on Saturdays where if you're in the UK, you don't see every game the way we get the chance to see every game. The match of the day, which airs in the evening, is a big deal because it's like for the 1 o'clock NFL starts not being seen and you can only follow it on radio. So this is really a terrific bonus for the football fans in the UK to get to see all of those fixtures in the weekend.
Mike, it's unprecedented. It's never been done. It's historical. It's a real shift. And the reason is those kickoffs at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, there are normally 4 or 5 Premier League games. Like you say, they're not on television anywhere in the UK. And the reason is you have to remember underneath the Premier League, there are 4 more professional leagues. Then there are about 5 semi-pro leagues. And all those divisions rely on bums on seats. So if you're showing Manchester United against Liverpool at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, which is the exact time that all the other games around the UK kick off, people are less likely to go to their local club to watch Rochdale against Huddersfield. They'll actually stay home and watch Manchester United against Liverpool. So that blackout law has been in place forever, and that's never ever going to change until a pandemic comes along. So of course everyone's having to compromise and change different things, and the leagues below at the moment are trying to work out what they're going to do about the future. But there are many fans, of course, who won't be able to, well, all the fans won't be able to go to the stadium, so they have to find a way of showing the fans the game. So it's unprecedented. People are going to love it, but I don't think they can get used to it because when everything returns, whenever it does, to normal, that law will come back in place in order to protect all those clubs who, by the way, are suffering 100 times worse than Premier League clubs right now. And without, of course, the bottom of a pyramid, the top doesn't work.
Lastly, we only have a couple of minutes, so go through these real quick if you don't mind. We're going to put up the top of the table and then the bottom of the table. First 10, last 10. Tell me the things that you'll be watching for most closely when we do get back to play here. Obviously, the headline is Liverpool is this close to finally hoisting the trophy.
6 points away, 2 wins is all they will need. They could do it with less if results go against their way. They could even do it in the first match. So Liverpool to win the trophy after 30 years plus 100 days, which is actually the time from the last game to the first game in this pandemic break. I'm also interested in Sheffield United, who are newly promoted, sitting there in 7th position. An unbelievable season they've had so far. How high can they finish? And then look below Sheffield United, Tottenham and Arsenal on 41 and 40 points, who should be much higher up. And in the bottom, the relegation situation, that's really where we're going to show you some television gold, because Brighton on 29 points are only 2 points above that relegation zone in 15th position. So it looks like it's going to be 3 teams from 6 there, from Brighton down, to be relegated, and that is where each game is going to be huge. The Premier League, what you know this, Mike, no game doesn't matter. Every game there's something riding on it, and that's why we love it.
We could get into our promotion relegation debate and would it work in U.S. soccer, but we don't have the time to do that because we have to fit this in. If you were with us last week, Rebecca and I had a bit of a moment about a proper cup of tea. Here's the update on that conversation.
Let's have a conversation, shall we? Let's have a conversation about what we put in tea. Got some milk here. Now, this is actually full fat milk, whole milk, because it's my little boys. I normally have 2% milk to go in, but I actually ran out. So whole milk's fine, it's going to make it even creamier. Lemon, honey, no. Listen, I'm making proper tea. If you guys want to have your lemon teas and your jasmine teas and your mint teas and your green teas and your blackberry nettle tea, brilliant. Put your lemon, put your honey in that. But please, I implore you, if you're going to have English breakfast tea, please only put milk in it. Only. Some sugar if you want, but nothing else. No lemon, no honey, no other imposters.
So after I was scolded last week for not knowing the proper tea, Rebecca, I want you to point out tea kettle, Pyeongchang mug, and this is some sort of honey lavender stress relief. Does this do it for proper tea?
Hang on a second. Honey lavender? Is that the tea you've got there, Mike?
It's the only one that was in the house. It's
I mean,
stress relief, though. Stress relief. It's what we need right now, Bex.
All I've done throughout this break is try to teach America about English food and English tea, something I think is a gospel that needs to be spread. And you go and you sit there with your honey lavender tea and you... I mean, I must be the worst teacher in the world, Mike.
Rebecca Lowe, she's back. Premier League is back, and we can't wait for that. So we can stop with the cooking lessons from Rebecca on how to make proper tea. You're the best. We'll see you back at the shop soon. Thanks, Rebecca.
Can't wait. Take care, Mike. Bye.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.